Texas Workforce Commission has partnered with the Texas Restaurant Association to explain how COVID-19 has changed the industry. As diners feel safe enough to come back inside to eat, they may still want the COVID-19 safety guidelines they have become used to. Even as COVID-19 safety protocols are lifted, there is always the possibility of other infectious diseases, and safety may continue to remain top of mind for some customers. Scientists believe that the coronavirus pandemics may become the new normal. We may see spikes in coronavirus infections each year, as we have seen with the seasonal influenza. If highly transmissible diseases arise again, you'll want to remember the procedures you put into place during COVID-19. Physical distancing. During the pandemic, restaurants had to limit capacity and require diners to physically distance to lessen the spread of disease. If COVID cases surge again, you might be required to return to the procedures you put into place previously. Or you may need to implement them again in the future. Write down these policies and procedures so you know what to do if necessary. Throughout the pandemic, restaurants followed city and state regulations to limit capacity. At different stages, they've recommended that restaurants open to certain percentages of capacity. Scientists recommend that people stay 6 feet apart. As you're cataloging and writing down your COVID-19 physical distancing procedures, be sure to note your restaurant's capacity. Your capacity is listed on your fire code documentation, which should be posted on site. If you're not sure what your capacity is, you can check with your local health department. When creating physical distancing procedures, envision the diner's journey through the restaurant. Distance limits must be set at all points where diners will be together. You need to think about setting distance limits in your lobby, at your bar, in the restrooms, and in your dining areas. Creating physical distance between diners includes spacing out and removing tables, chairs, and bar stools. You might also need to add signs about the rules in your lobby and bathrooms. Signage. Signs explain your physical distancing rules and makes it easier for your staff to enforce these rules. Here are some quick recommendations for your physical distancing signage. Use bright, easy-to-see colors. Use bold fonts that are clear and easy to read. Use colors that offer strong contrast, such as dark copy on light background or vice versa. Design signs to match your brand colors and aesthetic. Use clear and enforceable numbers. For example, 4 people allowed in the lobby at a time. Use floor markers so diners know where to stand to remain 6 feet away from each other. Use directional floor markers so people know which way the traffic flows. Many restaurants got very creative in designing ways to help customers follow physical distancing guidelines. Restaurants have created plexiglass barriers between tables or diners, made hutches for individual tables to separate parties, used cardboard cutouts to mark where diners couldn't sit, and limited table and diner party sizes. Creating and enforcing physical distancing policies is difficult. After months of testing out your procedures, be sure to write down what has worked and what hasn't. You may need them again in the future. To help diners follow physical distancing guidelines, you'll need to use clear, direct signage. It's also important to train and support your staff in enforcing physical distancing rules inside your restaurant. Thanks for joining us for this video series.